Tanya Sharma.
And my name is Shreya Rambat.
And today we will be teaching you some information about cell organelles. In this lesson, students will learn the different functions that a cell performs in its day-to-day life in order to keep the cell alive. By the end of this lesson, the students should have learned about the definition of the cell organelle, understand the function of each cell organelle, identify each cell organelle in a cell diagram, and learn if the organelle is in a plant or an animal cell.
Now that you know what we will be doing in this slideshow, what is an organelle? An organelle is a small structure inside of a cell that performs a specific function, like making energy or communicating with other cells. Organelles are found in all different types of cells. As you can see on the right, the tiny little structures inside of this purple cell are organelles. Out of all the many types of organelles, some organelles are only located inside of plant cells, while others are only located inside of animal cells. As you can see on the left, the plant cell looks more structured and more sturdy than the animal cell. And on the right, the animal cell looks more fluid and does not have a defined shape. This will be important to see how different organelles are located only in specific types of cells.
In the following slideshows, we will explore the different types of organelles that are found in a plant and an animal cell. The nucleus in the cell carries the genetic information, DNA, that is needed in order for the cell to live successfully. It has a very important job because it has to make sure that the DNA is not damaged and it is organized so the cell can use the DNA properly in order to perform its day-to-day activities. As you can see on the diagrams on the right, it is found in a plant cell and an animal cell.
The next structure you should know is called chromatin. Although chromatin is not an organelle, it is important because it is DNA that is tightly wrapped around proteins. These proteins are called histone proteins. Chromatin is found in both plant cells and animal cells because genetic material is required in both types of cells.
The nucleolus is the darker region that is found inside the nucleus. The organelle creates another type of organelle called the ribosomes for the cell according to the instructions from the DNA. As you can see on the right, it is also found in plant and animal cells.
The next organelle you should know about is called the ribosome. Ribosomes create proteins for the cell. Proteins are vital because it helps the cell communicate, aids in chemical reactions, and builds structures for the cell. Ribosomes are found in both plant cells and animal cells, as you can see on the right.
Vesicle is a small sac that temporarily holds fluids and nutrients. It forms when a part of the cell membrane surrounds an object and pinches off. For example, if there are nutrients or foods outside of the cell that the cell needed, the cell membrane would surround around that food particle and pinch off and bring the food inside. As you can see on the right, it is found in both animal and plant cells.
Now let's review what you learned. What is the missing organelle? Is it A, the nucleus, B, a vesicle, C, a ribosome, or D, a nucleolus? If you said the answer is D, nucleolus, you are correct.
Review. On the right-hand side, which organelle do you think the question marks are pointing to? A, the nucleus, B, vesicle, C, ribosomes, or D, nucleolus? If you guessed B, that is correct. That pink circle right there is the vesicle.
The next organelle you should know about are called lysosomes. The lysosome digests food, waste, and invaders with digestive chemicals. It is a specialized version of a vesicle. Lysosomes are mainly found in animal cells, but can also be found in plant cells, as you can see on the right.
Centrioles Centrioles is a tube-like structure that helps the cell divide when it wants to replicate. It does this by going to the polar ends of the cell and releasing fibers that will eventually help the cell divide more easily. However, this organelle is only found in an animal cell.
The next organelle you should know about is called the cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton is made up of many tubes and fibers that help support the shape and structure of the cell. The cytoskeleton is usually broken up into many tubes called microtubules, and these microtubules are spread across the whole cell. The cytoskeleton is found in both plant cells and animal cells, as you can see on the right.
The cytoplasm is a gel-like fluid that surrounds all the organelles in a cell. In the cytoplasm, there will be nutrients and molecules that are essential for the cell to live. On the picture on the right, the green fluid in both of the cells is the cytoplasm. As you can see, they're found in a plant and an animal cell.
Now, let's review what you just learned. What is the missing organelle? Is it A, a lysosome, B, a centriole, C, the cytoplasm, or D, the cytoskeleton? If you said B, the centriole, you are correct.
Review. On the picture on the right, which organelle do you think the question mark is pointing to? A, lysosome, B, centriole, C, cytoplasm, or D, cytoskeleton? If you guessed A, lysosome, then you are correct.
The next organelle you should know about is called the cell membrane. The cell membrane, also known as the plasma membrane, surrounds the whole cell. It acts as a barrier between the inside of a cell and the cell's environment. It is made up of two layers of lipids. Lipids are also known as fats. The cell membrane is found in both plant cells and animal cells, and it is vital for life, as you can see on the right.
The rough endoplasmic reticulum, or also known as the rough ER, is covered with ribosomes. It helps produce various kinds of proteins for the cell. As you can see on the right, it is found in plants and animal cells.
The next organelle you should know about is called the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum, also known as the smooth ER, is not covered with ribosomes. It produces lipids, also known as fats, for the cell for storage, energy, and insulation. The smooth ER is found in both plant cells and animal cells, as you can see on the right.
The Golgi apparatus, or also known as the Golgi bodies, modifies, packages, and transports proteins throughout the cell. This is vital because many organelles use the proteins in order to function and provide necessities to the cell. As you can see on the right, it is found both in plant and animal cells.
Now let's review what you just learned. What is the missing organelle? Is it A, the smooth ER, B, the cell membrane, C, the rough ER, or D, the Golgi apparatus? If you said C, the rough ER, you are correct.
Let's review. Which organelle do you think that the question marks are pointing to? A, smooth ER, B, cell membrane, C, rough ER, or D, Golgi apparatus? If you picked D, Golgi apparatus, then you are correct.
The next The next organelle you need to know about is called the mitochondria. The mitochondria is also known as the powerhouse of the cell. The mitochondria produces energy, also known as ATP energy, for the cell that is needed in order to perform many of the activities inside of the cell. The mitochondria is found in both plant cells and animal cells, as you can see on the right.
Chloroplast is where the photosynthesis occurs. It contains chlorophyll that absorbs light energy. It helps the cell make its own food by producing glucose. As you can see, it is only found in a plant cell.
Now, let's take a fun fact break. Billions of years ago, the chloroplast and the mitochondria used to be their own living organisms. Although this may be hard to believe, scientists think this is true because the mitochondria and the chloroplast both have a surrounding double membrane inside of the cell, unlike other organelles. This idea is called the theory of endosymbiosis.
The cell wall is a structure that surrounds the cell membrane and provides strength and support to the cell membrane. It is only found in plant cells. The plant cells need this organelle to ensure that the plant is sturdy and it can stand up on its own.
The next organelle you should know about is called the peroxisome. The peroxisome has two functions. It breaks down fatty acids, also known as fats, and it turns a chemical into water for the cell. The peroxisome is found in both plant cells and animal cells, as you can see on the right.
Unlike the vesicle, the vacuole is a more permanent storage that holds water and food for the cell. There are multiple small ones in an animal cell, but one large one in a plant cell.
Now, let's review what you just learned. What is the missing organelle? Is it A, the peroxisome, B, the mitochondria, C, the vacuole, D, the chloroplast, or E, the cell wall? If you said B, the mitochondria, you are correct.
Let's review. Which organelle do you think that the question marks are pointing to? A, peroxisomes, B, mitochondria, C, vacuole, D, chloroplast, or E, cell wall? If you guessed C, vacuole, then you are correct.
Now that you know about the different types of organelles, let's take a quiz on them. Label the cell organelles on the numbers 1 through 16 on the animal cell diagram below. Good luck! Once you have finished labeling the diagram, check your answers on the next slide. Now that you have finished, check your answers with the animal cell diagram below. How well did you do? I am sure you all did just fine.
Label all the cell organelles from 1 to 17 in the diagram of a plant cell below. Check your answers on the next slide when you are done. Good luck! Below, all the correct answers have been written. How well did you do? On this slideshow, you can find additional practice, notes, and games for you to improve on your knowledge that you have gained today. Please use these links if you need the additional practice.
Want to learn more about the authors of this slideshow? My name is Shreya Rambad, and in my free time, I love baking and spending time with my neighbors and my cat.
Hi, my name is Tanya Sharma. In my free time, I love playing badminton and taking pictures of sunsets.
We hope you enjoyed this slideshow.